Okay, let me set the scene for you, and I want you to be completely honest about whether this hits close to home. You're standing in line at a coffee shop. The person in front of you orders casually, like it's nothing, like they just woke up with the words already pre-installed in their mouth. Meanwhile, you are silently, feverishly rehearsing your order in your head. Hi, can I get a medium oat milk latte with an extra shot, please? Hi, can I get a medium oat milk latte with an extra shot, please? Hi, can I get... Wait, should I say grab or get? Does grab sound too casual? Does get sound too formal? And by the time you reach the counter, you've mentally recited your drink order so many times that you accidentally say thank you before they even ask what you want. If you've ever done this, if you've ever written an entire script in your head before a phone call, drafted your hello before waving at a neighbor, or rehearsed, "I'm good. How are you?" 14 times before a coworker walks into the room, you are not alone. You are not broken. You are not socially anxious in the way you think you are. In fact, what you're doing is so far from a malfunction that it's actually been linked to some of the most advanced cognitive processes the human brain is capable of. And by the end of this video, I promise you're going to stop feeling weird about your internal rehearsals and start realizing that your brain is basically running its own writer's room 24 hours a day. So grab a coffee, or silently rehearse ordering one, and let's dive in. Let me start by validating something crucial. The fact that your brain pre-writes, edits, and redrafts sentences before you say them is not evidence that something is wrong with you. It's evidence of a cognitive style that researchers have recently started calling linguistic precision sensitivity. This is an advanced form of inner speech where your brain refuses to treat words as disposable. Instead, it treats every sentence like a small, important craft object. It weighs each word, tests the rhythm of the phrase, considers how it'll land in the other person's ears. Most people don't do this. Most people just open their mouth and hope for the best. Your brain, on the other hand, runs every sentence through quality control before it's even allowed to leave the building. You're not weird. You're not overthinking. You're just wired for linguistic depth in a world where most people talk on autopilot. And today we're breaking down, in 5 specific scientifically grounded points, exactly why your brain operates like a miniature Oscar-nominated screenwriter that never takes a day off. Number 1. You have what's called a highly active inner speech network. Inner speech is the actual neurological phenomenon of hearing your own voice inside your head when you think. Everyone has some level of inner speech, but researchers have found that there's an enormous variation in how verbal, how detailed, and how rehearsed people's internal dialogue is. Some people barely hear their own thoughts at all. Others, like you, experience internal dialogue so clearly and so frequently that it's essentially like there's a little audio engineer in your skull mixing every sentence in real time. This process activates Broca's area, the language production region of your brain, which means that when you rehearse a sentence internally, your brain is almost literally speaking it even though your mouth isn't moving. Studies have shown that people with highly active inner speech tend to have stronger verbal intelligence, better writing skills, and deeper reflective thinking. Most people walk around with a quiet brain. You walk around with a full podcast running between your ears, and honestly, the production quality is immaculate. Number 2. You're running an advanced form of something researchers call prospection. Prospection is the cognitive ability to mentally simulate future events. When you rehearse what you're about to say, you're not just picking words. You're actively running a simulation of the entire upcoming interaction. How will they respond? What facial expression will they make? What's the most likely next thing they'll say? What should my response be to that? This is extremely high-level cognition, and it's centered in a brain region called the medial prefrontal cortex. People who engage in frequent prospection have been shown to have stronger decision-making skills, better emotional regulation, and higher success rates in professional settings. Why? Because they've mentally rehearsed so many outcomes that by the time reality happens, they already have a few possible responses prepped and ready. You're not anxious about the conversation. You're doing pre-production for it. Your psychology is playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers with their eyes closed. Number 3, and this one genuinely changes how you see yourself. Your brain's constant rehearsal habit is deeply tied to something called theory of mind, which is the cognitive ability to imagine what other people are thinking and feeling. When you rehearse your sentences, you're not just editing them for yourself. You're editing them for the specific person you're about to talk to. You're thinking about their mood, their personality, their sense of humor, their potential reactions. Your brain is essentially running a customized language model for every single interaction you have. This is advanced. This is rare. This is the same skill set used by diplomats, therapists, novelists, and top-level negotiators. It is no coincidence that people who rehearse their sentences internally often end up being exceptionally skilled at understanding others. You don't just speak. You communicate. You don't just talk. You tailor. It's like everyone else is sending out mass emails, and you're handwriting letters customized for each person. Number 4. There's a neurological explanation for why your brain specifically refuses to let you say something unedited, and it's rooted in something called executive linguistic filtering. This is a function managed by your prefrontal cortex, and its job is to evaluate each sentence for accuracy, social appropriateness, emotional tone, and potential consequences before it leaves your mouth. Most people have basic executive linguistic filtering. They check for obvious things like not swearing in front of their boss. You, on the other hand, are running a premium version. Your filter is checking tone, word choice, cadence, implication, subtext, and emotional impact, all at the same time. This is why you sometimes pause before speaking, or why you revise your sentence midway through, or why you'll occasionally freeze for 2 seconds and then say something completely different from what you originally planned. Your brain intercepted the first draft and sent it back for editing. This isn't dysfunction. This is one of the most advanced forms of linguistic control a brain can do. The downside? It makes small talk feel like writing a research paper. The upside? When you finally speak, your sentences are often more articulate, more thoughtful, and more emotionally attuned than the average person's. Number 5. There's an evolutionary reason your brain developed this trait, and once you understand it, I genuinely think you'll feel a weight lift off your chest. For most of human history, language was one of the most important survival tools we had. Being able to persuade, clarify, soothe, or strategize through words wasn't just a skill. It was often the difference between being accepted or exiled from your tribe. Humans who had high linguistic precision were more likely to become leaders, peacemakers, storytellers, and trusted advisors. Your ancestors were likely among the most verbally careful, emotionally aware members of their community. The brains of your ancestors were essentially honed to never waste a word, because wasted words meant wasted social capital. Fast forward thousands of years, and your brain is still running that same ancient rehearsal software, just with significantly higher stakes because now the people you're talking to have email addresses. You're not socially anxious. You're running a 5,000-year-old communication algorithm designed to keep your ancestors alive. That's not a flaw. That's a legacy. So here's where I want you to land tonight. The next time you catch yourself rehearsing what you're about to say to the barista, the cashier, your boss, your mother-in-law, or that one cousin you only see at weddings, I want you to stop and reframe it. You are not weird. You are not broken. You are not anxious. You are running a highly active inner speech network, advanced perspection, deep theory of mind, premium-level executive linguistic filtering, and ancient evolutionary communication wiring. You are the descendant of verbally meticulous survivors, and your brain has decided that every sentence you speak matters. Yes, it makes ordering coffee feel like preparing a TED Talk. Yes, it makes phone calls feel like live theater. But it's also the reason you're often the most articulate person in the room, the one people trust for clear advice, the one who writes the best texts, and the one who somehow always says the right thing when it really counts. You don't have a cognitive flaw. You have a cognitive superpower that happens to come with a really slow launch sequence. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, are you team, I've rehearsed this grocery store interaction 17 times? Or team, I just walk in and start talking and hope the words form correctly? Because I already know this comment section is about to become a beautifully detailed documentary of internal script writing, and I want every second of it. If this video finally made you feel seen for the way your brain operates, hit that subscribe button because we unpack hidden cognitive superpowers just like this one every single week. And if you want to dive even deeper into why your brain does the weird, beautiful, brilliant things it does. Click the next video on the screen right now. I promise you're going to see yourself in it too. I'll see you in the next one.